this costs $24, and Arrowhead models, this costs $50.
That does not look good.
Into the review, unfortunately, this product came defective with some metal bits that are separate and even some on the packaging tape. I have no idea how that happened. And there are some paint chipping here in the middle, underneath a little bit. And one of the sidewalls came unglued. Now I think it's because when I bought this model, it was in the winter time, so brass actually shrinks when it's cold, so it must have just snapped off then. It's actually not the first time this happened to me. Before, I've seen it on the Athearn SD70M-2 walkway since it's made of metal. So today we're going to take a look at the Arrowhead models. HO's gaping hole there, although it's not exactly seamless and I'm not a professional at this. So the wall is still kind of left. It's actually upside down compared to the other ones. Down here we have the coupler cut lever, some airline hose. Here's some tiny text and the handbrake wheel and the chain. And there's also the small metal platform made of etched metal so you can see through it. Now if you take a look on the side, you can take a look at the bogie. It actually lines up all the way to the very edge. And there are two separately applied grab irons and a stirrup step. Then we have GONX and the road number, some little details. Then we have some ribs going along the sides. They're actually made of plastic. And at the bottom we have some small writing, jack pad, and loops going along. And there's some bolted detail on the ribs. So if we make our way down, we can see the logo here in the middle. It says Railgon. And you can also see the air brake detail, which is visible from the bottom. Then it says their slogan, Nationwide Gondola Pools, some grab irons on the left, and the logo, some more data information all along. This end also has those tiny little details at the top. Now let's go check out the A end of the car. So it's pretty much the same. We got like the road number here, some dashed lines, and it says SPRG-D5, which is apparently a truck spring. And you can see on this side, this is where the wall broke off, and there's like a little opening at the top, which apparently is actually, there are some paint chipping here in the middle, but at least you can tell they are using brass for this. And here's how it looks like in one camera shot. And the interior, there's actually holes at the top and the bottom, and the interior actually does have some detail in it, so you can see the lines and all the textures, pretty realistic. And here's what it looks like at the bottom, where they have a full air brake system in place. On the trucks you can see this little detail is actually almost touching this axle. Very interesting. I'd never seen that before. Details like the reservoir tank, the valve, the brake cylinder, and that random piece is unpainted. It's definitely a highly detailed underbody, even some more additional pieces right here, like a lever or something. Now unfortunately this wall is still a little messed up since it is bent here on the side, so it's kind of bowing like that. So I also bought this Walthers Mainline 68-foot Railgon Gondola with a TTX patch, and later I'll compare it to the Arrowhead model. So let's start here again on the B end. We have GNTX, the road number, the handbrake wheel, little chain. There, this time it is blank. This model is using the plastic Walthers coupler right there. Then on the side we have two more grab irons and some vertical conspicuity stripes. Then we have GNT, and it says defect card, and a stirrup step at the very edge. And if you put it against the light, you can make out some more details, all the rivets down at the bottom here, pillars, and the holes at the top. Then moving further down along, it says plate C, some more FRA striping, and the Railgon logo again, along with some tiny text and information down at the bottom. So here's what it looks like in the X patch, which Railgon is a subsidiary of the TTX company. Then we got some more labels for on the right hand side, stirrup step, and here's what it looks like on the A end. It's almost identical to pretty much the same thing. There's actually holes going across the whole entire top of the car, and there's actually sparsely populated at the very edges. On the interior of the car, there's 4 lines going across the floor, but besides that, it's pretty smooth. Not a whole lot going on, and here's what it looks like at the bottom. So on the ends here we got the truck, and you can see that all the ribs molded on detail, and the air brake system is intact. There's pipes going along all the different parts, the brake cylinder, and here we got this pipe. It actually comes quite close to the truck, but it chops down right there. So now we have both models side by side. We got Walthers, this costs $24, and Arrowhead models, this costs $50. So the Walthers does have substantial weight to it, although it's longer and larger while they're in your hand. So if you look at the brake wheels, the Arrowhead model is is a lot thinner and more finely detailed than Walthers, which is chunky, and Arrowhead, all these parts are like separately applied details, while Walthers, it's all molded on into one piece. Like the brake chain sticks to the body and the platform is blank, while on Arrowhead you can see right through it since it's made of etched metal. Arrowhead's using Katy coupler and brake light, which are not present in Walthers, which also uses molded on grab irons, while Arrows are actually separately applied pieces. It's a bit like an optical illusion, but if you look at it from above, you can tell it's obviously different. Now both of these models do have holes at the top, although they're arranged differently. Models have details for the air brake system, although Arrowhead is more fully fleshed out with small parts and lines going all the way across, while Walthers is kind of isolated in the middle. Arrowhead also has detail for the inside of this bogie, while Walthers is missing that detail, and here them side by side. Here's a view from the side. You can just see how much a difference a fully fleshed out air brake system looks like. So that's it for our comparison between these two, but let's see how they fare against my other coal hopper Arrowhead models and Walthers Mainline. So first off, we got the Bachmann CSX hopper, and this is like one of my first rail cars. I just bought it from eBay. I have no idea really what's it from, but it is quite simple. Lots of molded on detail, but the whole thing is just one giant piece, a couple decals, and that's pretty much it. Then here's the Scale Train's Rivet Counter Befgon Coal Gondola car. The bottom is die-cast, so it has some weight to it. There's some small separately applied details, really nicely realistically added, and the paint is pretty well done. Then we have the Atlas Master Coal Bear. I wouldn't say it's exactly mind-blowing. And here again is the Arrowhead models Railgon Gondola. There's a lot of small realistic detailing, etched metal brass parts, wire parts, separately applied parts. It's overall really nice. Then here again is the Walthers Railgon car. It's plastic. It has a lot of like essential detailings. I really like the printing of this, but everything is pretty much molded on. There's not really any separately applied parts. So if I had to rank all these cars, I would rank Scale Train's Rivet Counter as the number 1. Number 2 goes to Arrowhead models. I think they're really well detailed, but it did come messed up in the packaging. And then the Atlas 109 individual pieces in this whole entire car using a mix of brass and plastic. You think gondolas are actually a simple type of car, but it's actually a lot more complicated than that. It wasn't like 100% how it's supposed to be. That's the problem with these metal parts, they just come on car. And for it to come like this, I was a bit disappointing, but it's still a lot better than the Walthers $24 one. It's just not as realistically detailed and a lot of things are molded on. I thought it would be a fun idea to just have a comparison between $24 and $50, but it's a little different, so I have more variety. I don't have the same exact car. It was a pretty interesting video to make. I thought it would be kind of boring since it's just gondolas again, but there's definitely a lot more than meets the eye. But if you're wondering where I got these from, I got them from lombardhobby.com. I think they're the only place that really sells these Arrowhead models. Subscribe if you haven't already. See you guys in the next one. Bye.